I miss the 2010s NBA.
Redux.
Westbrook triple-double every game. Derrick Rose launching into space. Trying to believe in Emmanuel Mudiay. Here's some random players from that era as a nostalgic way to finish the video. Avery Bradley, Serge Ibaka, Chris Bosh, Iman Shumpert, Anthony Bennett, Gerald Wallace, Alfaro Camino, Brandon Jennings, Lance Stevenson, Nikola Mirotic, Dean Waiters, Quincy Acey, Brendan Knight, Aaron Baines, Tyreek Evans, Jordan Crawford, Roy Hibbert, Craig Monroe, Marcus Cousins, Andre Roberson, Nemanja, Bielitsa, Zaza, Pachulia, Clippers, choking in the playoffs, choking in the playoffs.
Good morning, Sweet World, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Tuesday, October 29th, 2024. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Podcast listeners, this is for you.
Next to him, it's the bearded one, the top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Heyo.
Heyo. And over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer, JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are for a live edition of No Dunks. And in a few hours, we're going to have some fun playing video games. And we're playing Overcooked, which I'm told is a cooking simulation game. So Ash will join us here in the factory as we try and figure out how to make meals, I guess, together. I don't really know what we're getting ourselves into, but that's at noon Eastern here on YouTube. Podcast listeners, you can obviously check it out later. It'll live there on YouTube, but can't wait to say yes, chef, nonstop to each other.
A lot of herd chefs coming up, no doubt about it.
Trey, you've played this game.
Yeah.
So I assume he's chopping up veggies in the back and I'm screaming at him to bring it to the line? Like,
Yeah, exactly. It'll be, a customer will come in and say, I need a club sandwich, and Tass is working the tomatoes. You got to tap A 1,000 times to cut those slices nice, bring them across the kitchen. I'll throw them on a slice of bread, Skeets. You got a nice piece of turkey, plop it on there, we'll serve it up. 5 stars on Yelp.
Okay. So it's really just going to be us yelling at each other for an hour.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
So
You're dropping the ball, Mellis.
So the customer verbally orders it, or you just see it in a little bubble?
Like a bub.
Okay.
Yeah, we're talking bubs.
Just curious.
Yeah, a little bub.
Can't wait. No Lag, the return of No Lag, our video game series. Again, that's at noon here on YouTube. But let's get into the basketball. We had another wedgie. The pace is back high, Cass,
Yeah, it is.
for the season. This one, Isaiah Jackson with the block wedgie. Recovering there nicely on a Gary Harris layup attempt to stick it in Orlando.
Extremely nicely recovery by Isaiah Jackson. He jumped from way out from the restricted area. I mean, like 2 feet. Check that wedgie tracker. How far has a man jumped to create a wedgie? I mean, that is far.
Oh, you're saying we have dunk scores. Let's get wedgie scores.
Well, you can actually measure a distance between a player's foot and the rim.
Yeah.
The dunk scores, I don't know if that's really all that
We had
calculable,
low
you know
dunk
what I mean?
scores last night, though Jalen Green had a bunch of them.
Okay.
I'm still keeping my eye on it. I only get excited
completely
for
changed my
anything over
mind.
100, yeah.
Yeah, they're cool now.
Yeah.
Wow,
let's-
Jalen Green, you're not kidding, man. 3 of the top 5, that's huge.
Yeah.
Never seen that before.
Never happened before.
Ochai Agbaji, the best dunk of the night.
Yeah, but again, low dunk score.
Yeah, 75. Why are you going to bring it up?
Let's get into the games, because we got a ton to talk about here. And then we'll do sort of a look back on the last week, really, of the NBA season, talk about some under-the-radar performances and surprises and stuff like that. But Paolo Banchero, best night of his career on Monday night. We watched it on playback. Shout out to everybody that joined us. Tied the Orlando Magic record for points and a half. Scored 37 through the first 2 quarters against the Pacers. Finished with a career-high 50, tying the 5th highest scoring effort in Magic history. Trey Kirby wants to get the nickname Big Rig up on Paolo Banchero's basketball reference page. Honk, honk.
Come on.
The Big Rig. I love it.
The guy is just running people over in the lane. The guards were a little too short to be guarding Paolo, and the jumper was on for him last night. And then all of the bigs, all the front court players for the Indiana Pacers, they're just too light in the shorts to deal with honk, honk, Big Rig. He did hit the too small at one point on a take, I think in the 4th quarter, where he just rumbled straight to the lane and finished. But I do think he could use like the pretending you're honking a horn as a celebration.
That's good.
It would catch on. gone. You know, we just talked with Hanif Abdurraqib. We need new kinds of fun nicknames.
That's
some
true.
creativity in the NBA. I'm giving you one here. But man, what a performance from Paolo Banchero. He's had an awesome start to the season. There's not a lot of guys that are Paolo's size who have his skill level. He's been a great playmaker this season. He's averaging a career high 6 assists per game, also a career low 1.8 turnovers per game, really helping his efficiency. He's not going to shoot the ball as well as he has to start the season. He was on fire last night as well, but he's getting a lot of free throw attempts. Maybe they're a little high, but that's a guy that draws a ton of contact. He's really hard to guard. So I don't know if he's going to finish the season. What's he at right now? He's at like a 28.5 points per game, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. I still think he could easily be a 25 point per game scorer this season with the way he's shooting the ball and, you know, the free throws he generates.
Big rig in today's NBA. I wonder if it'll stick. Just because modern day NBA, we don't really have big post players. I know he does run over
You ain't
players.
a post player?
Yeah.
No, I know.
He's just trucking through guys. Saw it a couple times in that game that we watched.
I know. There's just not a lot of truckers in today's NBA. I guess, I mean, you could.
There's not a lot of truckers in today's NBA. I do agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. Although it was awesome to see him in the fourth quarter do that to Aaron Nesmith and basically say to the referees, pick your fouler here. Who is it? I mean, we're both run into each other. I'm having the game of my freaking career. You got to give it to Aaron Nesmith, who was very angry and fouled out because of it. But that was awesome to see. What was also awesome to see was the depth this Orlando Magic team has, because that was the big question, you know, last year and leading into this year. They gave Franz Wagner that big money. They gave big rig money. Just big money. They gave KCP that big contract. And after that 37-point first half for Paolo Banchero, he slowed down in the third quarter because the Pacers started doubling him. They started doubling
Finally started doubling him a little bit.
What are we going to do? They lost Franz Wagner in the first half to illness, and then third quarter, Jalen Suggs, who did have a great game, did start to slow down, and so they were looking for somebody else to do it. Suggs helped out a little bit, and then Anthony Black was monstrous in the end of the fourth quarter, hit 2 threes. The young kid, drafted at 19, now he's 20, still got a baby face, and was put in the corner, each corner, and hit a 3 in each side. So huge for him as he grows as a player, and this Magic team does have some depth. Even though we were listening to the broadcast, we were listening to the Pacers broadcast, and Quinn Buckner was saying, we got more players than them. The Pacers broadcast just saying, we're deeper than them. And it is absolutely true. However, this Orlando Magic team has just bought all in on their guys, and Wagner, Banchero, now Anthony Black, who's their backup point guard instead of Markelle Fultz, who they decided to let go. So really, really fun game between these two teams. I feel like they're going to be rivals for a long time.
Yep.
They both had 47 wins last year, and it's not going away. The Pacers and the Magic just have bought into both their teams, so they're fun.
Paolo Banchero, 16 for 26 from the floor, 15 for 22 at the free throw line. So he left a lot of points on the board, but 13 boards, 9 assists last night. He had 2 blocks as well. And yeah, it was funny. Like, he just had the jumper going. Like, everything was going in the first half, and they were not running a second guy at him. Sort of was a little perplexing what the Pacers were doing there, but then started to do it. And yeah, it was going to be other guys that had to step up. You're right about Anthony Black, Tass. Like, I think he hit a 3 from both corners.
He did.
Down the stretch there. You know, wide open, but got to knock him down and got to keep him honest. And right now, we'll get to it a little bit later when we talk about surprises and trends and stuff like that. But like the Magic, the offense looking real good. Their 3-point shooting looking real good. They were the worst last year in the league, so they've improved there. But when you look at other 50-point games in Magic history, you got McGrady with the 62 back in 2004. We got Shaq with a 53-point game in 1994. Nick Anderson, that one always catches everybody by surprise. He had a 50-point game against the New Jersey Nets in 93. And then McGrady has like 3 other 50-point games. But Paolo on the list now, and it feels like to me there will be maybe another 1 or 2 from Paolo this season. When he's cooking like that and getting to the line, he can have another 50-point game this season, I think, for him.
This is clearly is going to be his best year. He's just growing. I know we were all talking about KCP and all that external growth, but Banchero is just becoming a better player. Simply put,
into
he's
an
awesome.
all-NBA guy here through the first week.
And
Franz is shooting it well to start the season. Obviously didn't play very much last night, but it has been Banchero that is the reason that the Magic have exceeded early season expectations. I mean, KCP shooting like 15% from 3 so far. He has not had a good game yet. And the Magic are shooting 38% from 3. Really nice. So their offense looks good. They shot, 31% from 3 last night, but That'll probably level out over the course of the season. They're probably at best like an average 3-point shooting team, but I think they're a great foul drawing team. So that's a good way for them to get their efficiency up. On the flip side, what's going on with the Pacers? 27th in pace right now, 17th in offense. Tyrese Halliburton had his best game last night, 19 points, 10 assists, but he's averaging 14, 5, and 5 on 34% shooting. Doesn't seem to have the ball as much right now. Weird stuff from Halliburton, I think.
Yeah, and it feels like his actual shot form has changed. It feels like he's gotten a little bit faster. He's sort of speeding up. The shot has declined big time from three-point land. He's shooting only 26% from three. Feels odd to see him shooting the ball. All of his percentages are down. It looks like he tried to change it to try and literally get it off faster, but that ain't working. But I do love seeing, the Magic, talking about the other side, Jalen Suggs, I think just has got fresher, better legs on the offensive end because KCP is taking the other team's offensive player. That's really helped. And Jamal Mosley is just an awesome coach, trying to get the most out of his team and telling a guy like Anthony Black, a kid like Anthony Black, shoot from the corners as much as possible, even though he's taking a couple up top, but he's shooting from the corners, even though it's a bit of a shot put form. I mean,
it's not the prettiest shot release.
It starts at the nipples and goes straight up. I mean, but that's why the corners are the most likely place he's going to make them. But we can, we'll fly through Russell Westbrook and other guys who are shooting way too much. Anthony Black is out there. He played 30-plus minutes, but he just took smart shots in this game. So Mosley is a Coach of the Year candidate already. 1 week in, who's the Coach of the Year?
You sicko.
Mosley's in there for sure.
He's top 4. I would put JJ in there. I'd put Kenny Atkinson in there.
Yeah, Atkinson's
good. Budenholzer, maybe?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, good.
There we got 4.
Yeah, there we go.
So congrats to anyone out there. I'm sure somebody picked Paolo for the first guy to score 50 points in a game this season. That was a question we obviously did in our preview series. Let's keep it going here. Darius Garland, really good game. 34 points as the Cavs rallied to get past the Knicks. They win 110-104. Cleveland, 4-0. They're perfect. Kenny Atkinson, Coach of the Year for sure, nominee. But, they had a really easy schedule. They were just beating up all the bad teams, and then they play a good Knicks team in Madison Square Garden and took care of business. And I thought, Garland was the closer in this, but everybody contributing to us.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell bought into this team, signing that extension, and that's because he believed in the other guys, in Garland and Evan Mobley, and in
Jared Allen?
Yeah, Jared Allen, yeah. I was looking for a nickname for him, but I'm not calling him the Big Rig. But he had beautiful moves. He had beautiful finishes last night. But Mitchell talked to his team apparently after those 3 wins, saying, yes, we beat the bad teams, but it's the next game that matters. And they beat the Knicks, obviously, in the second half especially. The Knicks were getting all over that offensive glass in the first half, 11 offensive boards and only 2 in the second half. And Donovan Mitchell said, when he signed that extension, it felt like he knew that he needed other guys to perform. Mobley looked awesome in this game. And Garland, best game of the season, starting to look extremely comfortable. And it's an interesting buy-in for Mitchell because he was great last year when those 2 guys were out, and Garland and Mobley. And now he's buying in completely to those 2 guys being great. And so far, so good on the 2 guards, him and Garland on the floor, and Jared Allen and Mobley, the 2 bigs on the floor. Looking great. There's just so much confidence. And they don't even have Max Strus. They haven't got extreme performance out of that 5th spot quite yet. But yes, great start. Absolutely great start. Looking like the second best team in the Eastern Conference so far.
The continuity is huge, and you look at the standings and it makes sense. On the Eastern Conference, the top 3 teams are Boston, Cleveland, and Orlando.
Yeah.
In the Western Conference, the top 3 teams are OKC, the Lakers, and Phoenix. Teams that were literally all together last year. Maybe they changed a coach, maybe they changed one starter, but they're basically bringing back their top 8, top 9 guys. They know how to play together. I was super impressed with Darius Garland taking over in the 4th quarter. 6 minutes left. Donovan Mitchell checks out. Cavs are up 2. Garland goes for 8 points and an assist in the next 3 minutes. Mitchell checks back in. Cavs are up 6. And Garland was in a flow at that point. He scored another 4 points. Made a couple of nice defensive plays down the stretch as well. I think he stripped Brunson maybe on a fast break. Had another block from behind later. Cavs are good. They've got 2 guards who can handle the ball and make plays in Mitchell and Garland. Their defense is awesome. They held Karl Anthony Towns to 8 shots. He had 6 fouls in this game as well. Fouled out. The bad kind of Towns game that's going to happen. And, I just think the Cavs know what they want to do. And they know how to play. they have a lot of different formulations that they can be together on the court together, because last season they had so many injuries where they had to figure out who was their personnel that was actually available. So good stuff from the Cavs. It was nice to see them play a good team and look like the better team.
There were so many times I remember on last year's No Dunks where specifically you and me, Trey, were like pointing out, what the hell is Garland doing down the stretch of games? We were always talking up like he was forcing bad passes, just bad, ugly turnovers, weird shots. Now, a lot of it was chalked up, I think, to just like a weird year for him with the injuries and stuff like that and trying to find his rhythm. But man, Garland returning to like sort of all-star form, that really swings and catapults the Cavs into like a legit like Eastern Conference contender, maybe a team that could like really battle with the mighty Celtics, because he's such a difference maker. And obviously Mobley's played well with Kenny Atkinson here, and the offense, he's sort of running through him a little bit more. I think my big takeaway with the 4-0 record is like we've barely talked about Donovan Mitchell, right? I mean, like he's doing his thing. I think the percentages are great. He's averaging like 24 a game, 24, 4 and 3, whatever he's averaging. But that's a good thing. We're like barely talking about him. These aren't like, oh, Mitchell had to go for 48 to get the Cavs a win, or he had to hit 7 threes to get the Cavs across the line. It's like, it's all their 4 main guys that are contributing. So awesome start. And do you have any thoughts on the Knicks? Are you concerned about them? Hear how sort of like sluggish they've looked early? Like their offense in the half-court set is a slog.
That's sluggy.
Yeah.
Mikal Bridges is a question that hasn't performed to his ability, and it would help to have another center beside Karl-Anthony Towns. I think that's a difference. But yeah, it is odd to see Cat get sent to this team pretty late. It is a little like Cleveland last year. Like their core just didn't get a lot of reps together, and so that stinks for the Knicks. That's it.
But you're not panicking. You're not pressing the panic button on New York.
No.
They're 30th in pace right now. Everything takes forever for the Knicks. It's just basically Jalen Brunson handling the ball for 20 seconds. Can we get a shot out of that? We'll see a mismatch there. We'll give it to OG Anunoby. He'll dribble for 20 seconds. They don't necessarily have a flow or an offensive system right now. The trade came in pretty late. Like Tass said, the Bucks were complaining about it last year, so I guess the Knicks will get a little bit of a pass early in the season, but they're going to have to figure out a way to generate offense with Towns, not just using him as a play finisher, but like getting him the ball in advantageous positions, letting him draw a second player, and then maybe get a double team and we can get some open shots. But right now, it feels like everything is a chore for the Knicks to actually get decent looks offensively. So I assume it'll get better as time goes on and they just, learn where Towns wants to be on the court, how he interacts with Brunson, but not a smooth start in the least.
Yeah, but they are the third best offense in the league, even though they play fairly slow. They get points. Their defense is the worst in the league, and so that's a little bit scary. At this pace, they can't be giving up. Obviously the Celtics were awesome, but then they're still giving up not a lot of points. But a tough schedule, I guess, for the Knicks to start playing the Celtics, Pacers, and Cavs. Brunson
got a little banged up last night, played through the injury, but then Josh Hart left that game due to injury. I don't know what his status is. Like that guy, got plays through, I feel like, pain, so you never like to see him go back to the locker room. And then the Cat, that was, like you said it there, TK, like a bad Cat game. Like early foul trouble, frustrated, not a lot of shot attempts. Then he did his little Cat, temper tantrum when he was getting up his late fouls. It was just that was the bad Karl-Anthony Towns game, but hopefully gets it out of his system. But man, Cavs looked legit there last night with the 6-point victory. Another fun game between these two teams for the second time, the Lakers and Suns. Phoenix down 18 points in the first half, but managed to get the victory, 109-105. Hand the Lakers their first loss, and really, Booker, his best game of the season, Durant doing KD things, and then the rookie, Dunn, and we had a Mason Plumlee, the Plum Dog, helping out. It was a funny lineup at the end that was working for Phoenix to get this victory. I don't know who wants to get us started on this one.
I watched this game last night when I got home from the Hawks game, and then I watched it again this morning, and both times I was like, no takeaways. Kevin Durant is good, and sometimes he's going to make shots that you can't defend. Mm-hmm. Same with Devin Booker. I heard Eddie Johnson say he has the best left hand in the NBA. Maybe it's true. I noticed the same thing as you, though, Skeets. Mason Plumlee closing the game for Yusuf Nurkic. Nurkic was terrible last night, went 1 for 6 from the field. He was a -20. Meanwhile, Mason Plumlee, 0 shots on the night, plus 23, and was just out there. I think a lot of the reason that the Lakers lost this game. Not a great game from LeBron, his first stinker of the season, to be quite honest. But it looked like the Suns were deciding we're going to roll with what's working. And I like to see that, where they're not just necessarily like, okay, Tyus Jones, you started. Yusuf Nurkic, you started. That means you're closing.
Yeah.
That obviously wasn't the case. Dunn got a lot of minutes in the fourth quarter. Plumlee got a ton of minutes in the fourth quarter. And then Royce O'Neal was a guy in there for Ryan Dunn as well. But good stuff from the Suns. Like, I think they're competitive this year. They do look like they've changed their shot profile enough. Like, I saw Kevin Durant take a 3 in the fourth quarter. That kind of stuff helps. They need their star players to be looking to shoot from outside, and that's obviously a Budenholzer influence. Coach of the year.
Everyone's getting Coach of the Year
He's
today.
involved for sure. He's up there. Kevin Durant, yeah, he's old, and he's playing great. He played 38 minutes in this game. He's played 40 minutes per game so far this season. That's a ton. He had that fourth quarter run, 8 straight points. Now the oldest player started the season with 4 straight games with 25-plus points. It looks like he's getting better as he ages. But this team, the second iteration of this team, another year, they do look better, getting contributions from Royce O'Neal off the bench. I was surprised when he got that contract, but he's definitely worth every single penny. And Ryan Dunn, the late draft pick, is awesome.
He's fun to watch.
He's so
that
good.
guy moves his feet on defense. He was a part of the reason why LeBron was 3 of 14 and only 11 points. Like, there was times where Dunn was just doing an incredible job of staying in front of LeBron and just moving those tootsies. And I think like a guy like that, it's sort of amazing how one guy thrown out there can like help a defense. Like, it spreads, I feel like, amongst other guys. Like, we sort of saw it even with the Hawks, with Dyson Daniels a little bit. It works. Like, having a guy that plays his ass off on that end, I think makes everybody else play a little bit harder or a little bit more locked in. So,
So you guys weren't watching the Hawks game last night.
well, I mean, I know not last night was a good example, but I'm saying this season I've watched a lot of Hawks
that's
games.
true, yeah.
And he does help. And, you know, I think they need to find even maybe more minutes for this Suns rookie, Ryan Dunn. But, yeah, that was a fun lineup there where it's Booker, Durant, Beal, Royce O'Neal, and yeah, there was Plum Dog for a while, but then right at the end, they throw Dunn in for some defensive possessions, and they get it done.
Hey, we're giving Coach of the Year awards now. Rookie of the Year talk needs to include Ryan Dunn.
It's got to be on the rookie ladder.
He's the 28th pick. He looks like he's sort of an undersized big, but it doesn't matter. He plays ridiculously hard defensively. He's a three-point shooter when he wasn't one at Virginia. Some way, somehow, he feels comfortable taking shots. He literally can push the ball and take that shot if he wants. So, yeah, they have more depth. This Suns team definitely looks different. I was definitely skeptical if they would be able to do the depth thing, but the Tyus Jones signing obviously helped. The Monte Morris signing even helps a tiny bit. And then, yeah, your Royce O'Neal and your Ryan Dunns. And Bradley Beal only injured for 1 game at a time now. He played after missing a game. He's missed, at this rate, he'd play about 60 games. That's Beal rate right now. 3 out of 4 right now.
We're on the Beal rate.
Yeah. So, yeah. And LeBron, getting to 11 points.
Yeah.
Keeping that streak up.
Yeah.
1,226 games with double-digit scoring. But it was close.
It almost was snapped
close.
last night, but he hit that one 3 late to keep the game close, too. Okay, a million other games. So any other takeaways, TK, from last night? How was the Fortress? I mean, you saw the Wizards beat the Hawks, of course.
Yeah, man. It was cool going and see a Corey Kispert versus Garrison Matthews shootout.
Hell
That was
yeah.
what it came down to. I basically went to see the rookies. It was a bad loss for the Hawks, like you're saying. The Wizards hit 21 threes. 21 of 44 from 3, and they shot 20 of 47 from 2-point range. It's always weird when the 3-point percentage is higher than the field goal percentage, but that's what it was for the Wizards. They weren't even passing the ball; they were just like bringing it up, and Kuzma was hitting threes. It was, the Dyson Daniels effect. It was not in order for the Hawks last night, but the rookie performances in order, I would say, went like this: Bub Carrington, best rookie on the court, followed by Keyshawn George. I didn't go to see either of those guys.
Yeah.
I wanted to see Sarr and Ricochet. Neither of them were good. Ricochet had a wide open look at a corner 3 to tie the game with 1:20 left, and he airballed it. Whoops.
Was that the side of the backboard one?
Did it hit the side of the backboard?
Yeah,
It looked like an
It
airball
did.
from where I was sitting.
It hit the side.
Yeah.
It was rough.
It was not close.
No.
Best player on the court was, I thought, Bilal Coulibaly.
Yeah.
He was awesome on Trae Young, put the clamps on, held Trae to 2 of 15 from the field. Trae did have 13 assists, but also 6 turnovers. Coulibaly is huge, man. Like, he was towering over Trae Young and kind of smothering him at times. That's the kind of player that Trae really struggles with, somebody who's quick enough to move his feet, but also big enough to, like, challenge on the step backs and give rear view contest when you actually get beat. Like, Io DeSumo always gives Trae Young trouble, and not that Koulibaly and Io are similar players, but they're built similar. They're big, they're long, but they're also fast. Koulibaly was also great in the short roll. He finished with 17 points. I don't know if he took a shot in the first half, but they started using him as a screener because he was being guarded by Trae as well, getting him the ball, letting him create from the inside. I gotta say, I saw the vision a little bit for the Washington Wizards. They're still bad, man. They are so young. You look at so many of their players, and they got straight up baby faces, but Koulibaly is humongous. Good defender. Sarr is at the very least, he's super athletic. Yeah. He had a couple of nice blocks in this game. Carrington is big. George is big. They both give effort. I'm like, in a few years, if they figure out how to play offense, I'm confident that they'll have a good defense.
Yeah, that's maybe what they're building. And Koulibaly got the game-saving, final stop on Trae Young there, too. Like, that's where they were down 2, right? And Trae went for the win. But Koulibaly, he sort of bit on the pump fake from Trae, but, he's so big and so long that he was still challenging the second attempt from Trae there. I mean, it wasn't I think Trae probably should have taken it inside, maybe done his patented floater, and maybe got it to overtime, giving you some free basketball down at the Fortress. But he was looking for that 3. But Koulibaly did a great job on him all night.
Yeah, I guess Trae didn't know that he was going to have to go left, but he should have got a way better shot off than that. Yes. It is Trae Young, and he is that talented, but he had a bad night, just overall, unfortunately.
Harry the Hawk was in costume as well. He was dressed as Beetlejuice for the majority of the game, because I don't think the Hawks play again in Atlanta until after Halloween, but at one point he changed into an Australian breakdancing costume and was doing ray gun moves.
Wow! And was he doing good ray gun moves, like the classic?
Oh, yeah. So I was like, what is this guy supposed to be? And then he started doing, I guess you would call it the hip hinge.
Yeah.
The horizontal hip hinge. Ray Gun's signature move. That was great stuff.
Okay. Any other games you want to touch on, Tass?
Well, Boston pulled an OKC where they kept it close to the Milwaukee Bucks until the fourth quarter, and they said, let's do this thing. I do like the Bucks. We're giving it a go. Giannis did play 39 minutes. That's a heavy role for him. And he shot 26 shots, the most of his season. So if you're looking at any sort of positive for the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis tried to win this game, and Damian Lillard also tried to win it with 18 free throws. He was going hard to the hoop. Watching old Al block Giannis Antetokounmpo on a drive attempt is wild. That Al Horford at his age is able to do that. That was bonkers. So I guess you can. Hey, there's a little bit of a win there for the Milwaukee Bucks. What was painful was watching the Raptors Nuggets ending with 30 seconds left. Scotty Barnes up 4 points, tried to score in the paint, and he got destroyed by Nikola Jokic's elbow, and so he had to go to the back
accidentally.
Because it was accidental, but then he's on the ground. He had to leave the game because of concussion protocol, so the Nuggets just go the other way, down 4. They got 5 on 4, so that leads to an easy bucket. And so then they play the free throw game, and somehow Joel Murray sends it to overtime with a beautiful move.
Ooh,
but up 4, 30 seconds left. That was painful to watch. Scotty go down, then the team gets the numbers the other way. But hopefully Scotty's okay because he had to leave this game.
Yeah.
Because he got hit by a big rig named Nikola Jokic. That's a large man.
Yeah, he scored 40, Jokic did, as they rallied from 15 back to beat the Raptors. He said they were up 4, the Raptors were late, but they were even up like 8 or 9 with like a minute and a half to go.
Yep.
I was getting ready to send the Tasmelis thumbs up Raptors tweet. It was like, okay, Raptors are going to do this. Wow, what a win. But I didn't send it. Luckily kept it in the chamber. And yeah, the Nuggets, the Raptors were missing free throws. They had RJ stepping out of bounds. Like they botched it, for being honest. But the Nuggets got their first win of the season. It took overtime. It wasn't the prettiest. But you got to get that first one off your back there, the monkey off your back. That Raptors, man, if that's what they're going to do all season, just play close games, entertaining games, but lose.
That's how it is when you're tanking.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a tank win right there.
Holy moly.
We were close. We almost beat them, but it took a playoff rotation from the Nuggets to pull it out.
Their benches.
Their bench
non-existent.
Brutal. I think they've lost every stint they've been on the court so far this season, according to Worldwide Wob. But back-to-back 40-point games for Jokic. We were talking early in the season, how does Jokic possibly win a 4th MVP in 5 years? I don't think he's the leader right now, but the recipe is nice. Everybody else on the team sucks, and he's putting up 40 a night. That could do it if they actually start winning games. But you would like to see them be a little bit better. 6 for 20 for Jamal Murray. I only saw the layup that he made at the end there, but I was watching the scoreboard down at the Fortress. I was like, if the Nuggets lose this game to the Raptors, they will be leading every single show.
Well,
yeah, they didn't have Emmanuel quickly on the other side, and it was kind of a blessing in disguise because they were throwing Davion Mitchell at Jamal Murray, and they threw Jamal Shed at him, and they did a great job until late. And that's kind of the Jamal Murray thing, and is that he kind of gets good in the fourth quarter or gets good in the playoffs. And he turned it on with that beautiful reverse lay-in.
Oh, that was pretty.
Timed extremely well.
After he nearly threw it away, giving it to Jokic in the post. Jokic did a good job to save that and then give it back to him. And then, a little hesitation dribble from Jamal Murray. Sort of, I think Pirtle thought he was going to settle for the jumper baseline, but Jamal took it in and little nice pretty up and under to get them into overtime, and then sort of Jokic took over there. We had a poll up yesterday before last night's games. Most disappointing NBA team so far. The Nuggets took the vote. This was before the victory against the Raptors. 55% of the vote. Over 4,000 people chiming in on YouTube. Bucks at 33%. Pacers 8%. Kings 4%. I wonder if I did that again today, if we threw it up again today, I feel like that's flipping for sure more
towards the Bucks.
To the Bucks. Yeah, after another loss and Peyton Pritchard hitting 8 threes on them and stuff like that. My gut says that. Maybe the Pacers would get more of the vote too with another loss, but the Nuggets did get one, and the Kings did too. I just wanted to slip this in here. De'Aaron Fox scored 24 points. He surpassed 10,000 points in his career as the Kings beat the Blazers 111-98 for their first win of the season. Fox did the 5th player in franchise history to reach the 10,000 mark. Can you guys name the other 4 Kings to hit over 10,000 points? One in the Sacramento era. I'll give you that.
That's it?
Just one in the Sacramento era, yeah.
Weber?
No.
Mitch
Richmond.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So 12,000 plus points there for Mitch. And then you got 3 other oldies.
Oscar Robertson.
Yeah, he's 22,000 points.
That's the only guy anybody knows.
I feel like you know this other guy. He's got a great nickname, really. I'm gonna give you this nickname. He's not small. He's not short.
Tiny?
He's tiny.
Archibald?
Yeah, Tiny Archibald hit over 10,000 points. And one more. You know him from an award. He's a part of an award.
Is he a Twyman or a Stokes?
He's a Twyman. Jack
Twyman.
15,000 points.
There we go.
There you go.
I saw they let DeMar light the beam.
They
afterwards.
did.
First
He looked like he was having fun doing it.
Yeah. He's probably excited.
Any other games? What about your Bulls?
You see the hat?
Yeah.
First time all season I got to wear this hat. Very exciting. Crazy Bulls win. They were down 20 in the second quarter. You know about first half leads, though. Bulls tied a franchise high with 25 threes last night. Levine and Vooch went off in the fourth quarter. The Grizzlies, no Ja Morant. Jaren Jackson Jr. is on a minutes restriction, so he's playing 24 minutes a night. That just led to Vooch getting some wide open threes. He's been on fire to start the season. But the Bulls look totally different now that DeMar DeRozan is no longer on the team. The Bulls are first in pace in the entire NBA, and they're third in three-point shooting. Attempts, makes, three-point rate. They're 6th in percentage. They're playing a super high variance style right now. In their win against Milwaukee, they went 21 of 47 from 3. Last night, they went 25 of 52 from 3. And their losses against the Pelicans, they made 10 of 34. And against the Thunder, they went 15 of 53. Bulls have never taken 53s in a game until this season. They've already done it twice in the first 2 games of the year. So, they're going to be in a lot of these games. They're going to beat some teams that they shouldn't beat because they're just going to take a ton of threes, and sometimes you make them. They're basically like a college team, so we'll see how it pays off. But they look different, and a bunch of my friends now got antennas. So things have improved in the past week.
And we did learn that antennas are not necessarily the bunny ears anymore.
Square antennas, they got circle antennas,
Right.
we'll do anything.
Yeah.
Somebody said you can just stick a paper clip into your coax thing. I don't know if it's
Get electrocuted?
I wouldn't
Awesome.
recommend that.
Clip it.
Okay, any other games? I know there's a million others. We got a lot of other questions here to tackle.
Yeah, let's get to the questions.
Okay, well, we have some injuries first. We have an update. Warriors superstar Steph Curry will miss the next 2 games with a left peroneal strain and will be reevaluated this Friday. Quote, the MRI was positive, Steve Kerr said after practice yesterday. That's the main thing. No significant damage. So that is good, but he's going to miss a couple games here. What did we say? They have a back-to-back against the same team, right?
Pelicans, I think.
Is it the Pels they play tonight
so.
and tomorrow?
Yeah.
Here in San Francisco. So they're also without the Warriors without D'Anthony Melton. So, is it Podziemski? Is it Buddy Hield? We talked about that a little bit yesterday, but at least Curry Tass is only going to miss probably a couple games here.
Yes, I've heard of this peroneal strain before. It's sort of towards the rear of the ankle there. I've seen it before with friends that have gotten hurt. You got to take your time, though. It's not like he's coming back this week.
Right.
So
got to rest it.
That is absolutely for sure, and it's something that can be aggravating. So, like one of those, the hamstring, the groin will stay with you for a while. It's one of those. Right. So he ain't coming back this week at this point.
Really gruesome injury last night in the Jazz-Mavs game. Jazz forward Taylor Hendricks was wheeled off on a stretcher with a broken leg midway through the third quarter after he fell to the floor without any contact. Like no other guys near him. He was by the baseline near Utah's basket. The team has said he had a fractured right fibula and dislocated ankle. If you've seen the clip, you know that's exactly what it is. If you are one of these queasy types, do not watch it because it's a very gruesome injury and just odd, Trey, that like how it happened. Just a man running and stopping, a young guy at that.
Yeah.
And for it to like just snap like that or fold like that. Oh, God.
Yeah, noted Twitter doctor Brian Suderer, MD, called it a contact injury because basically it's like there's nobody around him, right? No. But the way he lands kind of on his own leg is what leads to the injury. I assume he's going to be out for the season with the way it happened. It's a gross one, and his rookie season was kind of jeopardized by injury as well. Only played 40 games, got 3 in this year. Tough start to your NBA career to basically miss your first 2 seasons.
Yeah. Stomach churning injury, I think is how Dan Devine put it. But yeah, you're right. Hendricks was like getting starts here for the Jazz. He's getting reps. But yeah, he'll be out for the year. Let's talk a little bit about the last week in the NBA. Got a few questions for you guys, for everybody joining us on the stream team right now on YouTube. Play along in the comments section. Tweet at us if you want, @NoDunksInc. First one, again, about a week. I want to know which player or team, Tass, has gone under the radar the most to you. Maybe something we should be talking about more that's just been overlooked.
The Los Angeles Clippers are under the radar. And they were under the radar before the season started. Nobody wants to talk about a team that's talking about Kawhi Leonard being injured. And so no one was talking about them, but the guys that they added are doing some great things on the defensive end. Chris Dunn, who would have thunk it, and Derrick Jones Jr. are just awesome on that end. You talk about guys that are contagious on that end. It's those guys. Yep. I mean, they are getting after it. Both guys, especially. Dunn coming off the bench, he knows that he can just use all his energy on the defensive end. 2 steals per game. Derrick Jones Jr. will take the best player on the other team, 1.7 steals per game. So that's that end of the floor. And then the offensive end, it's all going through Harden, but Zubats and Norman Powell have been great with him. Harden has always worked really well with a big. He always has worked extremely well with the center. And so him and Zubats are great together. And then Norman Powell is a great guy, knowing that his role is going way up with Kawhi Leonard out. The guy's a scorer, man. He is still a bucket in his young 30s. So he's doing lots of good stuff out there. He beat the Nuggets by himself. And they're 2-1. Looks like they're on their way to their 14th straight winning season. It is bonkers when you think about that. The only team that's at 13 consecutive wins right now, winning seasons right now. And yeah, so they're 2-1. It all depends on who they play night in and night out. But to see what they did over the Nuggets, over the Warriors, and they lost their only loss in an overtime game against the Suns. This team's just they care. I can't believe I overlooked Ty Lue as a Coach of the Year candidate. He's a Coach of the Year.
Gotta be in the mix.
He does, man. To say, hey, Chris Dunn, come off the bench, play your heart out defensively, and don't shoot all the freaking time. You play your role. And the bench knows what they're doing. Like, to think that, Kawhi, Paul gone, that they'd be this deep. They're deep. They're great. And thanks to Ty Lue. He's great.
That's a good one. Who are you going, TK?
I was Clippers focused as well.
Okay.
To me, it's Harden. Like, people don't realize Harden's hooping right now. 25 points per game, highest since he was in Houston. 11.7 assists per game, highest of his career. 8.3 rebounds per game, highest of his career. 6th in the league in usage percentage right now. It's the highest since he was in Houston. Guy said, I'm a system. And guess what? Still kind of a system. Of course, their offense is 23rd in the league. They're actually not scoring really well. It's the defense that's carrying them. But I think Harden will start shooting better. He's at 36% from the field right now, 19 from 3, 6.5 turnovers as well. But the guy gets to the free throw line as usual. That helps, and he's really been great for Ivica Zubac. I think Zubac has been the biggest beneficiary of Harden taking the reins with Kawhi out. 22, 14, and 4 assists per game for Zubac. He killed the Nuggets too. I mean, yes, it was Norm Powell. He was unstoppable. Also, Zubac was just a layup machine, and when they were actually near him, easy passes out. Clippers, I can't believe how watchable they are. They're fun to watch, actually.
Yeah, and those free throws are the highest that he's had since his Houston days too, at 10 per game. I mean, it's been a minute since he's been that high. He gets after it, even though the percentages are low. He said, "I'm going to be the system," and he's doing it. So yeah, the offense got to get a lot better overall. But yeah, Harden probably shoot better than 19% from three. Like the shot's got to go at some point.
All right, a little Clipper love from you guys. I'll just show some love going under the radar, even though we talked about his team here earlier on the podcast. Jared Allen is averaging 17 and 10. He's got a steal a game, nearly 2 blocks per game. He's shooting 80% from the floor. And because the Cavs are 4-0, Jared Allen right now is 5th on Basketball Reference MVP award tracker, which is pretty amazing. It goes Shea, Chet Holmgren, Jason Tatum, Anthony Davis. Those all make sense. The numbers they're putting up, the teams they're on. And then Jared Allen there, representing the Cleveland Cavaliers. I guess Mobley's down in 9th, but Jared Allen, he just gets overlooked. But Kenny Atkinson, man, he's the Jared Allen whisperer. These two are together. This guy's unstoppable. So he's just playing his role perfectly, just to show him a little bit of love. Because you usually talk about Mitchell, you talk about Garland. Even Mobley has looked a lot more improved. They're definitely including him more offensively. But Jared Allen just goes about his business, just does the dirty work. And big reason why that they are 4-0 to start the season. All right, next question. What's been the biggest surprise? What do you got, Trey?
Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah.
Is he back? Is Andrew Wiggins back? He's a little bit back. I think he's been good in every single game for the Warriors. He had 20 in an opening night blowout win over the Trailblazers. Had 13 rebounds, which is a huge indicator for Wiggins in a blowout against the Jazz. And then he had 29 in a loss. I thought he was the best Warrior on the floor against the Clippers after Curry went down. But he's taken more shots. He's kind of unsustainably hot from the field right now. The guy never gets to the free throw line, but he's really aggressive. He's rebounding, and Wiggins is smiling all the time when he's out there on the court right now. I think those are all positive things from him. The Warriors are going to need Wiggins to stay in this kind of flow with Curry missing a couple of games, maybe more here. I think that Wiggins has outplayed Kuminga. I thought that was the opposite last year. Like Kuminga had kind of superseded Andrew Wiggins, but Wiggins looks like comfortable on the court for the Warriors right now, and he's playing the best he has basically since the finals when they won in 22.
Yeah, he's unfortunately day-to-day right now with a back injury, so he's questionable tonight. They obviously could use him here with no Curry, but we'll see. Hopefully he can play through that. But yeah, he definitely looks like there was a lot going on off the court for Andrew Wiggins last year with his family and the health of his father. So, I mean, you can feel like that's been alleviated a little bit. Maybe just like that's out of mind now, and you can just get back to hooping, and he's been great. That's a good pick. I had him on my short list here as a surprise.
Yeah, hopefully it's a Wiggins comeback year.
Yeah.
My surprise is Jalen Green is shooting 11.5 threes a game. That sounds like a lot for Jalen Green because, the rap on Jalen Green is that he just gets shot happy and that he's only been incredibly good shooting the ball for 1 month. But he looks damn good. He's shooting his best from three-point land at 41%. He continues to hit them. So 11.5 threes. I mean, shoots the 4th most threes in the league. It sounds like a lot, period. But as the threes increase, you're going to see guys shoot 13, 12, 11 threes per game. So Ant is first. Then it's Tyrese Maxey, who's bound to come down because Paul George and Joel Embiid aren't taking any shots right now. And LaMelo Ball is third. We'll see if that keeps up. But I think Jalen Green will keep up his threes, so he's going to go even higher in the ranks. Will the percentages stay up? I think so. I think that's why Houston gave him this contract. He can hit them. to see that percentage it's fairly high, and the numbers keep pumping out. He had a great night last night, dropping 36, shooting 7 of 13. Jalen Green is a 3-point shooter now.
Yeah. And they got the win in the old baseball series against the Spurs. Spurs couldn't take both of them, so Houston got the victory there last night to split that one. Good picks. I'm going to go with a team here. We sort of talked about it already a little bit, but the Magic, just having one of the best offenses in the NBA, is surprising in a good way if you're an Orlando Magic fan. Currently 6th in offensive rating, and they're hitting nearly 16 threes per game, which is wild because they were dead last in made threes last season. and you had slipped it in, Trey. You were like, the weird part is Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who comes to this team and we're like, oh yeah, 3-and-D guy. He's going to give you great defense, and he can actually hit a three. Well, he hasn't been able to so far. He's 2 for 17, KCP is, from distance. But it hasn't mattered because everybody else is on fire. Paolo's been good at knocking down threes. Suggs is on fire. Gary Harris, Franz. So, Anthony Black even contributing a little bit. So, they have an elite defense. I just said if they can be above average offensively, this is a 50-win team in the Eastern Conference, and good start for them. I mean, I don't know if teams are just like, well, they couldn't hit any last year. Let's see if they can hit any this year, and like letting them see if they can knock them down. And they are. Will it continue? Probably not at the rate they're splashing them. Not at least all those guys. But I guess the good thing is, well, KCP's not going to go 2 for 17, over the course of a season.
Yeah.
In that percentage. So that'll tick up while somebody else ticks down. It's just you need to keep Franz pretty high. Gary should be okay. And then, Paolo obviously playing at an all-NBA level. And he's always going to get to the free throw line as well. So you're pairing a bunch of three-point shots with a bunch of free throws. That's why they have one of these best offenses right now.
I'm surprised Gary Harris is playing at all. But he's in the rotation. Jalen Suggs, I thought he would have more energy on the offensive floor, as I said, because KCP is there to help out defensively. But this is that time of year where we say, oh, this guy is so good. And his numbers tend to come down. That's just across the league.
Even bringing up Wiggins, we've seen like Wiggins. Remember there was like weeks where he couldn't miss a three-pointer. I'm talking about seasons prior, so yeah. Could it happen again? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But anyways, you do got
I personally don't think they're going to have 10 guys shooting 39% from three or better for the whole season.
Not.
There was a team last year that did basically the same thing. That was like
on fire.
Shot really high percentages.
Could be them. Yeah, that started super hot first month, a ridiculously high three-point percentage across the board.
Yeah.
Maybe it was
the Clippers does ring a bell, actually.
Yeah.
All right, final question here. What trend is most or least likely to continue, in your opinion?
Yeah, the Nikola Jokic, number one, playing a ton is very interesting. And shooting the three ball a ton because they don't want to see non-Jokic minutes. They just do not want to see him on the floor, on the bench whatsoever. But this dude, he's playing 39 minutes a game. He would be playing the most by far in his career if he was anywhere close to that. And he's shooting 55% from three, also by far the highest. So those are both questionable things that Michael Malone is just saying, oh man, I don't know what we signed up for here with our bench, but Yoke, you got to play, dude. So that's what they say every single game. Last game, Dario Saric, as their backup center, sat the second half. He played the first half, and they said, oh, God, this ain't good. You got to sit. Already. I mean, this is game three, for this team. So the Westbrook, Peyton Watson, Julian Strawther, and Dario Saric combination of four I thought would be okay because Westbrook would get enough out of the Strawther-Watson combo on the wing and Saric, but really those two guys, and Strawther and Watson, they need to combine and be one player because one is good on the offensive end and one is good on the defensive end. Saric just looks old, man. He looks extremely old, and Westbrook takes too many shots. And so they got to find something. Otherwise, Jokic, he's not going to get off the floor. But as Trey said, that's MVP-worthy stuff that he's doing right now at 32 points per game, 10 boards, 7 assists, and great freaking percentages. Great percentages. But I don't know how long they can keep it going. But at the same time, Jamal Murray hasn't started all that good. Michael Porter, the same. Even though Aaron Gordon is contributing enough, and this ain't a Christian Brown replacing KCP problem. Christian Brown has
he's been
good.
Actually okay, yeah.
But
just the bench stinks.
Yeah, it is.
They've lost too much in the past 3 years. They've lost too much, is what it is. And they have 3 backup centers. They can't play any of them. Saric, you should have known when the Warriors let him go. If the Warriors let a veteran go, he's done. Think about Nemanja Bjelica. Won a championship, out of the league. Otto Porter signed with the Raptors, never played, out of the league. Saric is the next guy. He's just done. If it doesn't work with the Warriors, it's not going to work. Zeke Naji, they paid him, can't play him at all right now, and DeAndre Jordan's just there for the vibes. Right. Aaron Gordon is their backup center. Unfortunately, he's also their starting power forward.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. They played basically 8 guys down the stretch last night, and it's game 3 of the NBA season.
Oh, the Malone was like, we need a W. We are going for this one, for sure.
The Aaron Gordon tip-in was amazing. He contributed a beautiful tip-in, but yeah, it's the guys who replace the replacers. That's the problem. Christian Brown is freaking awesome, but who replaces him off the bench? They seriously do not have one. So yeah, the whole Bruce Brown can be can be replaced. Okay, but then you let somebody else go and KCP, and they just don't have enough replacing guys to replace the replacers. And yeah, the Najee Marshall thing ain't working. All the Najees ain't playing well in the NBA. Zeke Najee, Najee Marshall for the Mavericks, he can't hit a three to this point, even though he's supposed to. But anyway, the Nuggets just got depth problems. I wonder how long Jokic can deal with this. I mean, he gets in there and he's like, okay, I'll just shoot every three. He never used to do that. He shoots way more threes now because he just realizes, dude, we don't have enough.
Yeah. Same question for you, TK. Trend, most or least likely to continue?
I'm buying the Chet All-Star leap.
Okay.
I don't know if he will make the All-Star team. It's tough to make it, blah, 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 all this stuff. But the guy's at 24 points a game, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and 4 blocks a game right now. These are unsustainable percentages, but it's not unreasonable, I don't think, for Chet to be basically 20 and 10 with a couple of blocks a game and a steal. He's made strides basically everywhere on the court, I feel like, right now, except for he's not shooting the three very well, but his handle looks better. He looks stronger. He's definitely a better playmaker this season. OKC is also first in defense, so I wonder if when it gets time to coaches voting and that kind of stuff, they say, man, this team is impossible to score on. And part of that is because they've got a great rim defender in Chet Holmgren. So getting 2 All-Stars will just be tough. Shea will make it, absolutely. But then I think, Jalen Williams and obviously Chet should be in the conversation come January and February. He looks great, and he looks like he's like a top 5 center in the league right now. It's been a week, but the guy had a ton of potential coming into the league, and he's playing up to it.
Yeah, for sure. If you're ranking them right now, it's Shea, and then Chet is ahead of Jalen Williams in terms of like an all-star selection. Yeah, without a doubt.
I love how Chet just gets into his offense way faster in the mid-range. He just feels way more confident. And that makes sense. This is his second year in the NBA. He looks like he wants to take 2-point shots, which it didn't seem that way last year in the mid-range. He looks great. What was that photo going around of his teammate, Jalen Williams, going around looking a little plump? Well, he was in his jersey, and maybe it was just a profile photo, so the camera made him look like it looks like he had a belly.
A little
but
belly?
maybe he had a padding on his gut.
Oh.
He was playing with those pads.
I didn't see this.
But he had a tucked-in jersey. Yeah, and he just looked Harden-esque.
Could it have been like billowing a little bit, like the fabric?
No, it was tucked.
Yeah,
it was full on, 100%
I'll have to
tucked.
seek that out.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble. I'm like, am I supposed to look up Jalen Williams chubby?
Yeah.
Billowing?
Try plump.
Plump. Okay, yeah, let's
Put
see.
task called it. Maybe you saw it in a tweet. All right, so let's hear your answers to all 3 of those questions, sort of like taking stock here of 1 week of NBA action in terms of under the radar and surprises and trends and stuff like that. All right, tonight's pick'em game, Tass, we're going Mavs Wolves, and Minnesota's favored by 5.5 at home. Mavericks, back-to-back situation. Was this one of those schedule losses, or Dallas coming off a win last night against the Jazz? Will they have no problem at least keeping it close? We're split on this one.
Yeah, when I first looked at that 5.5, it seems big.
It did seem a little big.
Seems large.
Yeah.
But if you want to take it from the Minnesota side, they want revenge for that Western Conference Finals that ended as a gentleman's sweep that the Mavs took care of business 3-1. So it is a little surprising that we are split and that Skeets and Ash are taking Dallas to win by 6 or more. While myself,
No. To cover.
Yeah, by 6 or more.
I thought Minnesota was favored.
Oh, yeah. Then that's totally wrong what I just said.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I corrected you.
five or less. Dallas just has to lose by 5 or less. Well, Trey and I believe that Minnesota will win by 6 or more.
Yeah.
Revenge, Trey? What do you think?
Revenge.
Yeah, I think so, too.
And after last night's results, it's tight right now. Tass and Esh are 3-2, and Trey and I are 2-3. And, we don't have a lot of October left here.
No.
So it's
short.
We're going to know by the end of this week who's wearing a pickle costume for a whole week. So can't wait. We got Nuggets Nets tonight, Mavs Wolves obviously on TNT, Kings Jazz, and then the late game is Pelicans Warriors also on TNT. So only 4 games on tonight. So a light schedule for us after a very busy last night. Any other stories from the Fortress that you wanted to share? Anything else?
I went with Joe Mandy,
Yes.
our friend and comedian/writer, and he got recognized for being on the show Hacks.
Good for him.
Yeah, and he was shocked.
Oh, it doesn't happen often.
I wonder what the crossover is. Hacks fans and NBA fans.
Wow.
But the guy just said, Hacks is a good show.
Oh, he didn't say, "Hey,
Like,
Joe."
Hacks is a good show, and just kept it moving.
Oh, he didn't want a
Very
photo.
straightforward.
Yeah, didn't want an autograph. No.
What else? Got a bobblehead. Got a hairy bobblehead.
Oh,
Love it,
first
love it.
5,000 in the building.
Yeah, I was there early.
Way to go.
Players Club. See, got one Tweezy. Ate 3 forms of chicken last night, Skeets. Shredded chicken, chicken wing, chicken tender.
Wow. Rank 'em.
I like the shredded chicken.
Okay.
It was like a chipotle chicken mixed with beans and rice, very delicious.
Okay.
And then I thought the tenders were better than the wings.
Okay.
It seemed like a wing that was frozen and reheated to me. You know how it is. Yeah.
I'm sure the tenders were the exact same thing. But,
Yeah,
they probably taste
but a better fry.
Yeah,
to
sure,
it. Yeah.
sure. All right. Well, it's good to have you back out in the
Chicken
fortress.
rankings.
I can't wait to get down there. All right, let's call it there. Again, a reminder at 12 p.m. Eastern at noon, which is in an hour from now if you're joining us live, we're playing Overcooked. Now, I know what you're wondering. Are we playing Overcooked 1 or 2?
Yep.
I'm not sure. The answer
are.
is I have no idea. Maybe both. Ash will be in here soon to set this up with us. So No Lag, our video game series. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if you're a podcast listener, highly recommend you at least go check out the video once we get that going. So No Lag coming up soon. Otherwise, we're back tomorrow talking about tonight's NBA action and a whole lot more. You got a question about the NBA or NBA related? Send it in. NoDunks@gmail. No, wait. NoDunksInc@gmail.com?
Yeah.
There you go. NoDunksInc, INC@gmail.com.
And no dunks at the athletic.
Yeah.
Dot com.
That's
also do
why
that.
I wanted to say that.
We got them both.
I hadn't
baby.
said it in a long time. I hadn't asked for email.
Yeah, we need them though.
Yeah, just send it into NoDunks@theathletic.com. That's the easiest. All right, until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, Overcooked was so nice they made it twice.
Brace the day, people.